Good morning, Warren Peacock here. Today we can see the Australian dollar volatility continuing. It has a score of 9 from Friday's score of 7 and a 12 and 13 earlier in the week last week. We've got the Canadian dollar now on a score of 10. So a little bit of volatility on the CAD, a lot of volatility in the Aussie. The Swiss francs lost a bit of ground now as an overall score of 11. And the hourly is where the biggest loss comes in now as a score of 1. The Euro's been hit hard as well, down 3 points with an overall score of 6, and the hourly now with a score of 1, so that Euro weakness looks ready to continue. A little bit hesitant just to climb into it, and I am waiting for some confirmation. The British pound is on a score of 12, so that's still holding on to its strength from last week. After post-election, it is hesitating on the charts, and we'll just have to see whether that strength pulls through into the dailies. Japanese yen still on a score of 4, which is pretty stable. And then we've got the US dollar now on a score of 13, so that's up 2 points from last week. And the hourly it has a score of 6. If we look at the overall scores here, we have the dollar as the strongest and the yen as the weakest. That chart itself is actually in consolidation, and we'll go and have a look at it soon. The daily charts show the Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, US dollar sharing the strength, and the euro remains the weakest. The 4 hourly chart, we've got the Swiss franc and the euro as the strongest. It's against the other hourly chart over there, so it's going to be interesting to watch that pan out. And we've got the yen as the weakest on the 4 hourly, and then the hourly is the US dollar strongest with the Swiss franc euro weakest. If we go and have a look at the charts, there's the dollar yen on the daily, and we can see a pretty clear consolidation here. You can just put a resistance zone in over there and a support level, which is way down there, a little bit far down. If we put a trend line in here, we get a very similar effect. So at the moment it's consolidating, and it has risen within that consolidation. I don't see any trade on it just at this point. Maybe on a break higher or pull back down to support, or maybe even that lower trend line, but certainly a consolidation going on here. I'm waiting for a break. The euro to the Canadian dollar, and we can see that trend is still down, remains down. Had an evening star last week. It will be interesting just to watch it pan out. I'm not too keen on trading this with the high volatility. The euro to the Swiss franc, and we can see that's still trending down. That little rounding top hasn't panned out yet. The lows haven't broken, so there's still a bit of support in play. We zoom in a little bit. For all intents and purposes, right now it is in consolidation, so I'm staying away from it. The euro to the US dollar, we've had some recovery in the euro, and there's potential for a greater recovery. We'll have to see what happens. The resistance level is a little bit higher than the last high, so we still remain with a lower high at this point. We've also got the higher low, so consolidation with a bit of an upward slant here. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Maybe if it closes below the support level, just on those bodies, I'd be interested to have a look at it. But at this point, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. That historical support can hold this price up. Maybe a close below there will give us a shorting opportunity on the daily. The Swiss franc to the yen, and we've got Swiss franc pretty strong on this chart. It has pulled back. It's flirting with support at the moment. Nice little bounce up here. We could see some rally in the Swiss franc to the yen, and the yen is obviously quite weak at the moment, so that's the more likely scenario. But the Swiss franc has been pretty strong, so a little bit of a pullback is needed there. The euro to the Japanese yen, and it's a similar story. It's close to support levels. We can just put one in there, zoom out a little bit, and we can see failed to move higher, so maybe a bit of a blow off top there. Currently on support. Again, I have to see what happens. That euro strength, I don't know, two weakish currencies against each other. I'd rather just stay away from it for now. I don't think the euro strength is going to continue to any great length. The dollar to the Swiss franc, and we can see that continues to move higher, so some dollar strength coming in on these hourly charts. And again, the dollar index hasn't really changed much. A little bit of a rally going on, but the direction hasn't changed, so wait and see. It's sitting in that consolidation zone, so I don't see any trade there. And then the euro dollar on the hourly, uh, there's support level coming up. It's probably an important one down there. At the moment, it's just in this swinging zone. We'll have to see. Again, I haven't climbed into the euro dollar again. I just want to see how things work out. So, unfortunately, a bit of a mixed bag and nothing clear at the moment. So, sitting on the sidelines. Thank you very much. We'll chat again tomorrow.